I think I'm live. We'll see. We'll have to wait to see till my iPad comes up and see if I'm live. I might be here alone today. There's a lot going on in the YouTube world of vintage, so I might be by myself. That's okay. I'll tell the story and then you can come back and watch it later. Anyway, hello. Nope, still haven't popped up. Nope, still haven't popped up. Still waiting. Wow. Okay. This is taking forever. Let me see what I can do here. Let's try this. Okay. Hold please. If anybody's there, hold please. Let me do this. Oh, sorry. Just trying to. Here we go. Hey Val. Hey Kathy. Thanks for popping in. There's Miss Kathy. Hello. There's Miss Val. Hello. It might just be us girls today. It just might be us girls. Well, just while we're waiting for people to pop in, we will let me just adjust this a little bit. We will have a little chat. How's everybody doing? How is the weather where you are? The weather here is, excuse me, y'all, I still have this cough. I'm this like 100, what they call it, 100-day cough. I'm like over it. Hey Jamie. Hey girl. That's my best friend from Texas. Hey girl. The weather here is sunny today. If that's not going to last. That's not going to last at all. Daniel, hello. Oh, wait. Hello. Yes, girl, TGIF, honey. Thank goodness it's here. Hey, Sandy. Thanks for popping in. Oh, everybody's popping in now. Thank you so much, y'all, for joining me today. Like I said, the weather here is beautiful today. Don't expect that to last. No, 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 no. That is changing as of tomorrow. It'll be rainy and cold and everything. So yeah, it is. Oh, let me. Oh yes, girl. Terrible news. Absolute terrible. It's so sad. Excuse me. All these people and we're saying all these conspiracy theories. I'm just like over it. I'm like, you leave the people alone. I know they're in the public eye. I understand that, but it still doesn't give you the or give people the okay to make up crazy stories. Bless her heart. She's got the best care though. I tell you what, and her family surrounding her. Oh, what do you mean? What have you not read the news today? Um, Princess Kate was diagnosed with cancer, but she's getting treatment, and we're sending her positive vibes and thoughts her way. Um, so hopefully she can get through this. And yes, absolutely, people deserve privacy, especially in medical situations. It's like no one's business. If they don't want to share it, they don't have to. So there you go. Um, it was yes, girls, yeah, terrible. She had to, and she said that she had to like explain to them, and oh, so sad. So let's all send positive vibes to them, to the family, to the Princess Kate and her children, and Prince William. But yes, so the weather here has been crap, except for today. But the rest of the week it'll be horrible. And how's the weather where you are? Have all the storms died down in Ohio? And I know uh, in Indiana they were bad. And Daniel got some a little bit crazy snow, rain, other in his area. So I hope everybody's doing okay today. Excuse me, this cough is oof. I'm at the tail end. I've been feeling better. My crap, my crap, my crapped out rib, my cracked rib is feels good. Not a lot of pain. I'm doing really good. Hey Monica, hey girl, thanks for popping in. You are not getting snow tonight in New York. Oh yeah, look, only 39 degrees where Kathy is. You know what? Excuse me. Um, Summer's gonna come. We're all gonna bitch about it being hot. So just saying, we're gonna be like, "Ooh, it's too hot now. Can it be winter again?" I just we it's just because that's who we are. We like to complain. We got some. Oh, girl, you told me that about the hail. She sent me pictures. It was awful. The hail. It looked like snow in Texas, down South Texas. Well, I mean, Houston area, outside Houston. Yeah, so we'll be complaining that it's hot before long. We just need spring to come. I planted well, I say I, and that's Dave, planted some apple trees in the backyard. They're starting to bloom. I'm very, very excited. I don't think I'll get apples this year, but it's nice to see that they are blooming. I just need to get to my into my flower beds and weed them, but it's been so wet and so like soggy and drenched on the ground. Like I can't even, I mean, I just need to weed my flower beds. Oh, 60 today, 49 tomorrow. Wow. That's, I mean, 60 is lovely. Um, right, guys. So glad to see everybody's here. We're gonna have a fun chat today. Well, it's fun. It's fun, but it's sad and fun. But and interesting. Now I had very little knowledge of what I'm about to talk about, which is shocking for me because this is the kind of thing that children in all British schools should learn. It should be the first story they learn. The first thing they learn in school. Everything else can go to the wayside. This is a story that needs to be told. so, so we're going to get into it. So the person I'm about to talk about is born in the late 1800s, and he, yes, it's a man, was what I would consider the OG of cat daddies, like the first cat man, the first cat dad, the first cat everything, kind of. And here in the UK, anyway. Um, and his name was Lewis Wayne. Now, there is currently a movie on Amazon Prime, or you can rent it on Amazon Prime. You can rent it on YouTube here, and it's called The Electrical Life of Lewis Wayne. And I have not yet watched it. I was going to watch it yesterday, but I didn't have time. I'll be watching it this weekend, and it stars Benedict Cumberbatch, and he plays Lewis Wayne. So anyway, but he was the first cat daddy. He was the one that, so back in the day, Victorians deemed um, cats as sly and calculating and sneaky. Oh, have you watched it, girl? Oh, girl, I can't. And apparently, it's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate to his actual life story, so that's cool. Hey, Karen, girl, thanks for coming in. Um, so, so his depiction of cats changed the way people viewed cats. Because like I said, Victorians considered them like sly and calculating and sneaky, and they were not considered really pets. They were more like pest control. They only had them to get rid of the rats and the mice and all the vermin, and they were just like threw them outside. And so he, like I said, he changed the way people viewed cats, and we're going to get into how he did that. So he was an illustrator at the beginning of the 20th century. And at the time, he was a household name credited with changing the way people feel about cats. Um, in the movie, Nick Cave plays H.G. Wells. Wow, I was so excited to hear about that. The science fiction writer H.G. Wells once said about Wayne's depiction of cats, excuse me, Wayne, made the cat his own. He invented a cat-style society, a whole cat world. English cats that do not look like and live like Lewis Wayne cats are ashamed of themselves. So, who was the man behind these wonderful cats, these anthropomorphic, which we all love, cats? So, Lewis Wayne was born in 1860 in Clerkenwell, London. He would find work as a teacher. He at a West London art school. He went on to become a freelance artist for several different trade journals and newspapers. And his talent was he was a very good illustrator. No matter what kind of subject he was given, and they told him here draw this, he would draw them. He would draw them so well. He was really, really good. Now he was married twice. So this first wife, he was married quite young. I want to think like at 19 he was married, and his first wife passed away. So he got married again at 23. So he got married at 23 to his second wife, Emily Richardson. Soon after they got married, she was unfortunately diagnosed with a terminal illness. And in the last years of her life, Louis Wayne got her a pet cat. So he got her a cat as a family pet, and they called the cat Peter. And Louis, because he was such a great illustrator, would make excuse me, cartoons for his wife of these cats. So it'd be cats being like, doing human things, anthropomorphic style cats, to cheer her up and to, make her giggle, especially going through such a rough time with a terminal illness. So, and these drawings were only meant for her. These drawings were only meant between, were meant for his wife, between him and his wife. But the editors of the paper that he was freelancing for, oh, girl, yes. If you want to take a moment to go and look up the illustrations of Louis Wayne, if you're a cat person, even if you're not a cat person, they're so good. They are so brilliant. He's so clever, this guy. So he would so the editors of the newspaper he was currently freelancing for happened to see the drawings and offered to print some of his cat art. And days before his wife's death, he created a picture, an image. He illustrated an image, a kitten's Christmas party, and it featured 150 cats. And it took him 11 days to draw this, to draw this scene of 150 cats, which appeared in the newspaper. And they were like cats celebrating Christmas and cats with party hats and cats, having, presents. And so, and overnight, with that one drawing in the newspaper, overnight, he became a sensation. People loved the pictures of the cats doing human things, of the cats doing human activities, cats playing cricket, cats having parties, cats digging up the road. Now, what I'm going to need them cats to do is come out here and fix these potholes in my street, because I've about had enough of them potholes. And cats riding bikes. So he introduced, like this very fun, whimsical art or illustrations with anthropomorphic cats, which if you don't, just cats alone, but now the cats are doing great stuff. They're just living their best lives. So most of the time, Louis created these drawings while he sat in public. So while he was sitting out in public, watching, observing people, he would, he was, sketching the places around him and the people around him. And then he turned them into anthropomorphized felines. So he would make them into cats. And they were used to poke fun at the way people behaved in society. If he saw two people fighting, hi, again, hi. If he saw two people fighting, he would then draw two cats dressed in like outfits and people clothes and have them fighting. And he also used the cats on political satirical cartoons. So he'd want to get like a political point across or take the piss out of politicians. He would use the cats in place of the human, because it would be like lessening the sting of taking the piss out of somebody. So he's like, I can make fun of you. If I do it with cats, it's okay. It's cute. If I do it with cats, I could I can make fun of all y'all, but instead of y'all, it's cats. And now I'm taking the piss out of you. So, and he had so much, there was so much merchandise. Here's the thing. There was all kinds of merchandise that his image on these cats would appear on. Postcards and Christmas annuals. It further spread his fame. So all these images he was drawing were going on postcards, annuals, which an annual is like a book, like a yearly book here. They have like cartoon annuals here. And so every year, every Christmas, there's a new annual of, the Bruins or Dennis the Menace or, whatever big cartoon is happening. He did the same thing. So he marketed his items in these ways. And in his 1968 biography, or in the 1968 biography of Louis Wayne, it noted that his image had such an impact that the attitude of the general public to cats was changed. It was greatly affected by the way these cats were portrayed, and people started to think differently about cats. Well, they're not just, you know, rat trappers that breathe or pest control. They're actually pets. And obviously, you know, once you have a cat, and you know, because I have three, that you each of your cats, or even your dogs, any of your animals, you have like animals like cats and dogs. And if you have more than one, you know, each one has their own personality. Because a lot of people, I think, don't think cats have personalities. Oh, they do. Oh, let me assure you, they are each different beings. And I mean, and I know a lot of times, hey, John Robert, thanks for popping in. And I know a lot of times we as humans put our human, you know, like emotions or attributes onto cats. But cats got their own thing going. Child, them cats, mine are, I mean, I've got Chica, who is grumpy old lady. I mean, fair enough. Um, Girl, yes, they're also different. I have Chica, who's grumpy old lady. Ramona, the middle child, who, you know, likes attention, wants the attention on her, um, likes to eat a lot. I mean, you know, I understand that. And then there's the baby, Lola, who likes to go around like she's the big I am, and she's really not. So they're all very different. So it's, and so he created all these, what, you know, postcards and books and all these things, and images, and, you know, in the paper. But the problem was, even though he was successful, he was very successful and very popular, he wasn't really great with money. Louis Wayne, not the cats. The cats are probably fine with money. Louis Wayne was not. He was not a good. He wasn't good at business, and he didn't enforce copyright on his art. So his image could be copied over and over and over, and he's not getting the royalties or any, you know, the money for it, because he didn't copyright a lot of it. So his images, even though, you know, um, he did make money off it, he didn't manage it well, and he didn't have like business sense, which not every, and not many people do, not many artists do. Not if no one's taught you that, you're just like, I'm just raking this money in, and I'm not, you know, doing what I need to do, like copyright my stuff, make sure that I'm getting paid royalties off of things. So he didn't do any of that. And he also suffered with mental health. And so there's a couple of things why he suffered with girl. Yeah, okay, so we'll get into his sisters in a minute. Yeah, yeah, that's a lot of it. That's a lot of it too. I mean, not a lot of it, but that's partly because because I didn't see the film. So yeah, that was hard. I mean, I haven't seen it, but that's what I've read. I haven't from my research, I've saw that he ended up with nothing. So he had mental health, you know, he was struggling with mental health issues, and they're not sure if he always had them, because back in his early 20s, or was he in his 20s, or was he a teenager? He was uh or he might already had them, but it was exasperated by the fact that he, right, until the accident, he had an accident. So he was on a horse-drawn bus where there was a wreck. The horse-drawn bus wrecked, and he received a head injury. So there could be have already been, you know, rumblings there, but the head injury exasperated the you know, the I think it was schizophrenia. I'm not sure. That's what they think it was. And in spite of um in spite of, you know, like I said, the success, he was not good with money, and he ended up quite poor, and also ended up in Springfield Hospital. And we'll get into that. And he was always considered eccentric. It wasn't like this eccentricity was new. He was always eccentric, and that's fine. And but his mental and emotional state deteriorated as he got older. Remember, let's kind of, so let's tally this up. He had a head injury. He lost his first wife. She passed away. He lost his second wife. She passed away. And then you have all the problems of the money coming in, the money going out. He had sisters. I think he ended up living with his sisters when his wife passed away, and he became quite verbally abusive and violent. Now, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know if maybe they weren't being, maybe they weren't patient with him, and maybe he felt frustrated because remember, on top of all this other stuff that's happened, he's now dealing with the fact that he ended up in debt. Sisters and a mother, right? That he lived with sister and his mom, and so he ended up in debt, and that in itself is stressful, compounded with the fact that you lost two wives, you was in an accident, you shot to fame quickly, and then now you're in debt when your stuff is selling everywhere because he didn't have it copyrighted. So that's everybody take note, get your stuff copyrighted. And because he, like I said, he wasn't he wasn't a business person. He could have got one, but I think a lot of the influence by and I didn't see the film, it's just basing on what I've read that, his sisters had their hands in a lot of what was going on with him in the background. And because in 1924, Wayne's sisters had him certified insane and admitted him to a pauper ward in Springfield Mental Hospital in Tooting, South London. And so that was a bit, we'll get into that in a minute because he ended up staying there, not that particular one, but he ended up in out of hospitals the rest of his life, which is very sad. So he continued to produce his artworks in the hospital with his sisters removing his pictures to sell. See, so, excuse me, he had a talent, and I feel like to some degree, again, didn't watch the movie, this is based on my research, that they took advantage of his talent. And they said, here you go. Here, because if we put you in a hospital and we don't have to care for you, you're in the hospital, you're in the, institution, we can let you draw to your heart's content and take your photos or take your illustrations and sell them, which is a bit, it's wrong. That's a wrong one right there. I'm sorry. So when the bookseller Dan Ryder, who was an asylum visiting committee, came across Wayne in the hospital, he set up an appeal to raise money for the artist. Okay, it sounds nice. Wait. An exhibition of Wayne's work was arranged, and over 2,300 pounds was raised. Now, that was a lot of money. I don't know what the exchange rate is today. 2,300 in like the 1924 is probably a good chunk of money today. But only 640 pounds found its way to Wayne and his sisters. So this money didn't even go to him. Now, there could be, what's this? So there could be, because this is before World War One or Two. When did NHS come in? World War Two? I think it was World War Two. So remember, this is where you still have to pay for the hospital and all that. Hey, Amanda, how you doing? So, they had, so his sisters also became the beneficiaries of that fund. Yeah, because here's the thing, they don't take care of them. They can shove them in a hospital and be done with it. I don't know how much they paid for him to be in a hospital. I have no idea what that cost would have been, but clearly they're making money. So, and some of it could have been, they could, and I'm not shading his sisters, I don't know. Over 37,000. Okay, so see, that's a lot of money. So I'm not saying that his sisters were doing this to be nasty. I've not seen the film, so I don't know. I'm just going on based on research and kind of reading in between what I was reading and kind of getting the vibe for what I was, the research I found. And I know there was some, you'd have to pay some towards, you do now, even now. Not a mental facility, but like an old folks home, you have to pay for that. That's not NHS. So there was probably some kind of, or he would sell his artwork, the hospital would get some, they'd get the rest. And then Wayne was just like, I have no, I have no worries because, they're paying all my bills. So they also arranged a civil list pensions. Here's the thing: the prime minister at the time, to see these, I feel like his sisters were a little scammy, a little scammers. And I don't know that. I don't want to say that because I don't really know. But when I tell you this part, you're going to be like, So the prime minister, Ramsay MacDonald, at the time, who was the prime minister, then set up a fund for Wayne's sisters and also arranged civil list pensions for them in recognition of their brother's services to popular. Well, where is his pension? I mean, I know because he's in this institution, you don't think he requires a pension? He may not stay there forever. What's he going to do when he gets out? You have no pension set up for him. He's the one doing the work. This is where I was kind of like, they sound a little scammy to me. They could have been lovely sisters, unclear. I don't know. But to get a pension set up for you yourselves, but not your brother. Um, yes, girl. Yes, people do get ugly. And oh, I just went out for a minute. Okay. So, yeah. So Wayne was also seen as a leading authority on cats, becoming president and chairman of the National Cat Club and serving as a judge in cat shows. He was also in demand by the growing number of organizations devoted to animal welfare. He was seen as responsible for raising the social status of cats, of taking them from the parlor to a position where even members of parliament could proudly announce their enthusiasm for cats without fear of ridicule. So and so here's the thing: he was in the institution, and now there, one could argue that did he mind being there? I don't know, but he's an artist, and now he's free of, and I'm not saying it's right, I'm saying that, but now he's free of any financial burden. He doesn't have to worry about paying nothing. I ain't got to pay no bills. I can sit in here all day long and I could do what I want. And I mean, like I said, he had quite a volatile relationship with his sisters, so he didn't have them around. So, I mean, maybe to some degree, not that he enjoyed it, but that it gave him the freedom to some extent to be able to do what he loved. And there was some there was some debate about when he first started doing the anthropomorphic cats, they were cute and they were like in little like cat clothes and or people clothes, and they were like, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to deliver the mail, I'm going to have a party. So these were very, and then slowly they started to change to some, hi Lena, to some very they started to change and look a little bit psychedelic. And this was the 1920s, so there was no, it wasn't the 60s. Although his uh cats that were psychedelic were popularized again in the 60s with the psychedelic movement. But and there was an argument that at the worst, as he was getting worse mentally, his cats, his drawings were revealing that they were starting to be very psychedelic. And is that what's going on in his mind? And is that what's, but there's some debate about that because they say that that's not necessarily true, because he would paint these crazy psychedelic cats, but then go back to painting the cute or drawing the cute anthropomorphic cats. So it could have just been, and an artist after a while they evolve. They're evolving. Their art's always evolving and changing. So I don't know how much of the psychedelic cats have to do with any of him getting worse of his. I mean, he could have been getting worse, or he could have, but I don't know if one's connected to the other so much. And that was kind of debunked, that theory. And in relation to Lewis, no matter what his condition, and there was like I said, there was a certain amount of uncertainty about it, people just wanted to see him cared for, and the public still adored him. Once he was free of the financial concerns and was safe in an environment, he just drew for the love of it. And I think this was what they gathered while he was there. He just wanted to draw. He just wanted to draw. Oh yeah, girl, my crap. I'm much better now. Had 4 at one time. Oh, girl, I'm gonna have one. Yeah, but you still have to do your breathing exercises, Lena, when you have a cracked rib, and I have been doing that. So hopefully that's helped. And I have cats who've been purring on me, so they helped heal me. Um, so he just wanted to, again, he had a lot of trauma in his life. He had a lot of trauma uh, from, like again, let's go back. Train, bus wreck he was involved in, head injury, to uh, wives passing away, financial difficulties. That would do anybody in, and especially not especially someone, but someone who's probably very creative, and you know, you. I think I can imagine that if you're creative and this all you have this on top of you, it can stop you from being creative. You can lose that creative flair. And now that he was in some place like this, that's all he had to worry about was just illustrating what he wanted to do. Just do what he wanted to do. And I mean, that's all anybody can ask for in life is just to be able to do sometimes the things they love to do without all the added pressures. And so while he was in the, is it the Bethlehem Museum of the Mind, which was he did an exhibit. There was a Wayne exhibit at the Bethlehem Museum of the Mind, which was a site of a working psychiatric hospital. Uh, so they and it's still there. It's there today, and they do have the Wayne exhibit up where the residents are. When he was in the psychiatric hospital, the staff were going to decorate for Christmas, and they asked him, "Do you want to help decorate?" Well, he said yes, and instead of canvases, he used all the mirrors in the hospital and painted all the cats doing Christmas activities and on the mirrors, which I thought was sweet. He's sharing his art with others. He's helping celebrate with the other people in the hospital. So I thought that was a great little story. And it's also understanding his art in the same capacity as his mental health, like trying to connect the two. And sometimes there may not be a connection, but his art did evoke joy and humor, considering and the consideration of how our feline friends are perceived. And he continued to draw until his death in 1939. Was it 1939? Make sure. 1939, yeah. So he continued to draw for all those years. And again, you could say that it was cruel to put him in there but if it was a safe place for him to be, and he wasn't hurting him, and he could be free of all the trauma and get help with that and his own mental illness, and if being an illustrator and drawing made him happy, I think sometimes that's the best therapy. So Louis Wayne, I just want to salute you for making people love cats the way we love them today. And let me tell you, honey, people here I'm sure everybody's the same everywhere, but people love their cats here. Ooh, people go crazy for their cats here. I don't have a picture of the cat. You know what? I can. Let me see. Hold, please. I'll pull it up. You will recognize him instantly. I'll pull it up on my iPad and see if I can show you. Louis Wayne cat paintings. Okay. I'm gonna. Yes. All right. Let's see images. I'm gonna pull it up. Hang on. Let's see. So here are some of the crazier looking cats. Can you see that? There's some of them there. This one, I love this one. Look at that guy. He's great. And I'm trying to look at them reading a book. Oh my goodness, y'all. Oh, so cute. Just adorable. Look at this one. Oh my gosh, look at this one. I'm gonna be here all day now. You should ask Sandy. I'm gonna be looking every picture up. Although having said that, I will tell you a quick little side note. I was at but yeah, if you have not seen his stuff, you need to just Google it because it is so, some of it's so good. Oh, that's not mine. Hang on, let me go back to mine. Okay. Uh oh, the oh, girl. So here's a side note. I went to this antique fair, and I'm going again on Sunday. And Jessica and I went, and there was this lady there with these prints, um, old prints framed, and she said, "Oh, this is." And at the time, I didn't know anything about Louis Wayne. I should be ashamed of myself because I should know this. It's cats. So we went, and she had and they were only, I think it was 15 pounds, which wasn't bad. It was in a frame. It's really cute, good frame, nice frame. It was a print of a Louis Wayne cat, and I came that close to buying it, and now I regret not buying it because I do love a cat picture. And I said, Jessica, and we were like talking about it for ages. I was like, I should have got that, huh? And she's like, yeah, I mean, you really wanted it. So I'm gonna go Sunday. Hopefully, she'll be there, and I can see if she's still there. She still has the Louis Wayne print. It might have been just a copy of a print. I don't care. It was, I mean, it was old. Whatever it was old. And I've seen them on eBay. I was looking at postcards at eBay. A lot of them are reproductions. They're not. I mean, original ones I think go for. I mean, they don't go for crazy money. I mean, they're not like hundreds and hundreds of pounds, but um, I would definitely, I would definitely like to get one. So if that's now my mission is to find my own Louis Wayne prints to hang it on my wall with all my other cat stuff because I don't have enough cat stuff. Right. So we've got time for one little more story, one little more vintage story. This story is from 1932, and we're going to shift from cats to emus. Yes, I said emus. We're going to talk about emus now because in 1932, Australians declared war with emus. Yes. I said, do what now? I was like, okay, I'm gonna. And I read it. And I was like, oh my god, it's crazy. Girl, I'm going to be now looking. Oh my god. So see, okay. Back to Kathy. I wonder if it was Hereditary. Yeah, it's gonna. I feel like it was. I feel like yeah, it was probably Hereditary. I'm gonna watch the movie, you guys. If you are free this weekend, if it's bad weather where you're at, if you've got no plans, you can either get the movie on. You can get it on YouTube. You can rent it off YouTube, or you can rent it on Amazon Prime, and you can rent. It is The Electrical Life of Louis Wayne, starring Benedict Cumberbatch. So, right, we're going to go to emus now. I could talk about cats all day, y'all. Y'all know that. Don't tempt me. Don't threaten me with a good time. So yes, in 1932, the Australians declared war with emus. Yes, emus, big birds, big, huge birds that will probably kick your ass. They're just big. Um, and what was the Emu War? Now, I'm going to just say, seeing a picture of an emu, knowing what emus look like, I don't think it's a good idea to have a beef with an emu. I just feel like that's probably not the thing you want to pick on. It's probably not a good day to jack with an emu or several emus. They are as large as an adult human and are capable of outrunning one. So, an emu and having an emu on your side, well, you're going to win that battle. So, and it's because emus don't play. So let's see. Oh, that's Louis Wayne. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so emus. Why you want to fight with the emus, Australia? What's happened in 1932? Emus raise their brood in the Australian interior, and many emus routinely migrate to the west coast in search of food and water. But after World War I, um, oh girl, I've seen the big emu eggs decorated. They're kind of cool. Oh, Mamu, we love Mamu. She always had some cool stuff. So, but after World War I, Australian veterans had been given land in the western part of Australia, where they were there, and the veterans were encouraged to grow wheat. So here's some land. Thank you for your service. Here's some land in Western Australia. Grow some crops, basically. Never mind PTSD, just grow some crops. Okay. That's how we're going to help you, which is good that they got land. I mean, they gave them land. But there's always a but when the government starts coming up with schemes. The land wasn't great for agriculture. And post war, economic recession was driving down the wheat prices. So, yeah. So when 20,000 emus showed up in the towns of Chandler and Walgoolan, which is Western Australia, which is where they migrate to every year, and started tearing up the crops, drastic measures were called for. So, I mean, I feel bad for the farmers as well. Don't get me wrong. I blame the government. The farmers just trying to farm by this land that wasn't great that they were given um, because of their service. And yeah, so the farmers appealed to the authorities for assistance, which resulted in the Royal Australian Artillery armed with two. So they're calling it army. The army comes in. Australian Artillery armed forces come in with two Lewis light machine guns. Say what now? Excuse me? Simple, right? We've got the army here. We got machine guns. We're going to take out some emus. Didn't go as planned, though. It did not go as planned, because they did not take into account how the emus would behave. So I know we like to think birds are dumb, birds are stupid, See, you don't want to mess with an emu. Honey, if you ever get in a street fight, have your emu pal with you because they're not gonna play. So when the guns finally trained on the flocks of the emus, they're there, they've got their Lewis machine guns, whatever that is, pointing at this group of emus. Yeah, the emus responded by breaking into smaller groups. So they're all here. Machine guns are pointing at them. The emus right away recognize something ain't right. This situation, and they're all talking to each other. The emu's like, "Do you see what's going on here? They're pointing guns at us now." So the emus scattered into smaller groups. They all because they're smart. They're people underestimate animals. So you know how I feel about a rogue animal. So and at the first sign of trouble, they scattered in all directions, and which made it impossible to mow them down in mass as it was intended. So 2 days later, it's crazy. I mean, it's not funny because it's actually awful, but I'm on the emu side, as you know. 2 days later, the soldiers changed tactics and tried to ambush a flock that was 1,000 strong. So 1,000 emus in a group. They're gonna we've got them. We're gonna change tactics. We're gonna sneak up behind them and ambush. Like they're not gonna hear you with your big guns and cars and jeeps. You're gonna sneak up on an emu, an animal that probably has really great hearing and really long legs that can run really fast. So let's sneak up on the emu, shall we? I'm just like, people suck. So they tried to ambush the 1,000 strong flock, but the gun jammed. Of course it did. The gun jammed. That should have been your sign to go home. Army, go home. Your gun jammed. This should have been your sign. When you couldn't shoot them in mass, that should have been your sign. But then your second sign should have been the gun jammed. I feel like that's coming from a higher power, honestly. So, and only a handful were killed. So they only managed to kill like a handful. Also, efforts to shoot them from moving trucks. So let's just get in our trucks, drive alongside of them, and shoot them. They're fast. They're fast. They're gonna turn. They're gonna be like, yeah. Nope. You know what I mean? They are very inquisitive birds, so it would have been not a feather bed massacre, girl. I mean, you know. So even with that, even having said that, they only managed to kill in that tactic, in the ambush tactic, they only managed to kill like a few, which is still sad. Which is still sad. Come on. I mean, I get that these people are trying to build, grow crops, but no one thought, well, what's the migrant? What's what happens every year on the western coast of Australia? All these big birds show up, live their best lives at the beach, at the coast. So, who won the war? Who won this war between emus and farmers and soldiers and the government? Yeah, they did. They're pretty clever. I have never had emu, but I've heard that. Girl, I mean, like, give it a rest, military. Um, so without a doubt, the emus won the war. After 6 days, it took these people 6 days to realize they weren't gonna mess with the emus. Um, After 6 days with the emu fatalities in the low hundreds, the shooting was temporarily halted. Oh please. So, yeah, the emus won. The emus absolutely won. They were like, "All right, you're cute with your little guns." Um, after and so after 6 days with the emu fatalities in the low 100s, the shooting was temporarily halted and then abandoned altogether a few weeks later. So I guess after 6 days, they got the hint that emus were not playing with you. Instead, so the armed tactic, the Australian artillery army couldn't do it. They were like, yeah, we're just wasting bullets here. We're wasting time. We've got better things to do than chasing a bunch of emus around the western coast of Australia and not being very successful. So the government's next scheme, it's always a scheme with the government. The government always got to have some kind of scheme. The next scheme the government introduces was a bounty scheme. So loads of men couldn't kill him. Let's get a couple people we'll put bounties on their heads. That's what we'll do. There's like these wanted posters and post office of emus. I mean, stop it already. So yes, the government introduced a bounty scheme, although, as you can imagine, this had little impact on the emu population. Sorry. So so the emus are like, yeah, we're not having it. So what's happened since? What has happened since? Because there are still farms in Western Australia. I'm sure that land has been passed down generation to generation and or sold off for condos, but there are still farms there. And these days, the efforts focuses on fencing. Now, it is a 12,000 kilometer long state barrier fence. So I don't know. I didn't see it in miles. I'm sure it's really a lot of miles. Kilometers. I didn't do the math. Okay. The 12,000 kilometers, a lot of miles. If someone wants to do the math for me, go ahead and put that in chat. I didn't do it. I was going to do it and I forgot. Okay. Like I convert dollars to pounds to dollars, but I forgot to do kilometers to miles. Sorry. There's a state barrier fence that was 12,000 miles long, and it was originally built to exclude introduced rabbits from the farmland. So when I say introduced rabbits that weren't indigenous to the area, why they were introduced there, I have no idea. Maybe they were there to get rid of something else, and then now, of course, rabbits, they populate very quickly. So now you had this. You introduce these rabbits that weren't indigenous to the area. And so once you did that, then fences had to be built around the farmlands and able to grow stuff. So those fences were repurposed to prevent the natural movements of emus, which is rather sad because many of them do still show up and succumb to starvation and injury at the barrier. which just makes me feel sad. And look, we're gonna have this conversation again, y'all, about people and animals. People can start switching off on me. This woman and her animals. No, but this is a problem where people don't consider what wildlife is around and what you need to do in order. I mean, you can live. It's hard. It's not hard. It's not a hard thing to live with people and animals. It's just you have to find the way to do it. Now, this was originally happened in 1932. We don't have, maybe then we didn't do the research. We didn't figure out the science behind it. We didn't see the migrating habits of these animals. So they just did what they did. Nowadays, you don't have an excuse. There's no excuse for that now. We have enough information and wherewithal to figure out how to do this without harming animals. Val, me too. I'm so with the animals, girl. Even the ones that could probably tear my head off. Still, I'm still with them. And a Deakin University ecologist stated that the fence has now been turned against the native fauna, which is which is true. It's a very true statement. Now, I had two takeaways from this. What did I take away from this? Oh, okay. So about 7,500 miles, and now the Australian government is planning to kill thousands of wild horses. And girl, now I'm gonna have to do a story on that. See, what you did, Kathy? I killed thousands of wild horses in one of their national parks by shooting them from. Jesus, I mean, okay, so we'll get into that in a minute. And this is a show about vintage, and this was a vintage story because it happened in 1932. Originally, the Emu War happened in 1932. This is not a new war, and that's vintage. So my two takeaways from this story: humans are assholes. Period. Dot. I know I shouldn't really say that, but they are. We are. And if you get into a scrap with anyone, always have an emu on your side because they are going to be there for you. Now, I understand. So there is situations, and I'm not going to be like, where you have an infestation of something. Like, for instance, Daniel, where he lives, he has infestation of groundhogs. Is it groundhogs? Yeah. They are out of control. But because their natural predator has been, depleted, has left the area, has been killed, there's no natural, apart from man, there's no natural enemy or no natural predator to get rid of them. We as people, have encroached so much onto the natural animal habitats through development that they wonder why they sometimes attack. I mean, I'm also going to be on the animal side. I'm sorry. So you get to a situation like someone like Daniel. He's got a lot of these groundhogs. So many, it's ridiculous. Because their natural predator has been either taken away, diminished. There's no way to, reduce the numbers. You have to cull them. And that's not right. But you can't let, now when you're having an overpopulation of something like groundhogs, you have a problem. You have a big, big problem. And the only way to do it is, I don't think you have to get a helicopter and shoot groundhogs, but the same with wild horses. They were probably, predators, and there's things they can do to fix that. There's things they can do to limit the population without killing them of something like these horses and the ground. You could like sterilize the groundhogs, excuse me, or the horses or whatever animal it is. You here we call badgers, which I think is absolutely wretched. But what natural enemies do we have? We killed them all off. They don't have any natural predators, or because they're gone. So my takeaway is that in these times, in 2024, we have no excuse not to understand how we affected animals' habitat, how taking away the natural predator of an animal can cause an infestation of that animal. And then the problem is you get, when you have too many, they get diseases, they starve, there's not enough food for all of them. And to some degree, there has to be something done. Now, do I agree with shooting them from a helicopter, horses? Excuse me. I don't know. I don't know. I think, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where ruined the ecosystem to a point where now we have to get involved in a negative way. And there's no need for that. There's no need for it. It shouldn't have happened. It did. Here we are. Now what are we going to do about it? And like here, I'm sure I've mentioned it several times. They're reintroducing. Well, they're trying to reintroduce. They reintroduced beavers here, which okay isn't an animal attack. And to some extent, they want to reintroduce bears in Scotland and wolves. The problem with that is you're gonna get farmers that go, well, they're gonna attack my sheep, and that may very well happen. They may attack the weak sheep because that's called nature. That's called survival of the fittest. And to the point where, and I'm not blaming the farmers or the cattle or the ranchers, sheep ranchers. Oh, but they shoot birds of prey as well because they say, oh, well, they're coming down and they're picking off the weak ones. That's what they do. I mean, that's what that's what stops disease from spreading when these bigger predator animals do pick off. Now, I know in a situation where these are your sheep, it's a different story, but yeah, that's another thing. And that's why I'm not opposed to hunting. Like hunting to I'm going to eat this stuff. I'm going to use the fur. I'm going to use the meat. I'm going to, but then you get to a point where they start getting diseases, then no one can eat it. And it's a vicious circle. And I don't want to get on a soapbox. I'm already on a soapbox. What I do want to say is go watch The Electrical Life of Lewis Wayne this weekend. And let's all enjoy the cats. Because it's a debate we could get into. And I've, y'all know my opinion. I've said it several times. I am not shy about it. It just, we have to do better. We have to do better. We have to. We don't have a choice but to do better now. So everyone, go out or stay home. Sorry, stay home and watch The Electrical Life of Lewis Wayne and hug your pets. Hug your pets. Yes, we've interfered way too much with nature. And and people want to know why it bites us in the ass sometimes. Well, they're getting their own back, I guess. But we can all love cats. And I want you guys to go enjoy The Electrical Life of Lewis Wayne. I should get paid for this because I've said it too many times. But I think it's a movie that my friends here who come and see me every Friday will enjoy. And even if you're not a cat fan, if you're an art fan, or you just find that kind of thing interesting, give it a go. See if nice movie to watch at the weekend. And you know what? I'm glad you guys came today. I'm glad to hang out with you guys on a Friday. The weekend's here. Everybody have a great weekend. I'm so glad to hang out with you guys on a Friday. And I will not be back until the 5th of April. Next week is so funny thing. This month have 5 Fridays in it. So Double D is the first and third Friday of the month, and Vintage News Hour is the second and fourth Friday of the month. But this month had 5 Fridays. So I'm taking off next Friday. We're not doing Double D next Friday or Vintage News Hour. We're having an Easter break, but we'll be back on, I believe it's the 5th of April. And I believe that's going to be on my channel. Double D Live Chat will be on my channel April 5th. I will put out some promos for that. Please keep, I'll put it on the community tab here on YouTube. So I will see you next time. Oh, girl, let me tell you. I hope that Buffalo stepped on him. Anyway, good. Thank you, Val. You have a great weekend. It's Good Friday. Yes, it's Good Friday, everybody. You have a great weekend and a happy Easter. Because I won't see you till after that. And you have a wonderful day. And take care, guys. And I will see you next time. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.